times you have used a crosswalk? By a raise of hands, how many of you have gone to cross the street at a crosswalk and the driver has simply ignored your presence? Well, you are not alone. According to accident pedestrian statistics, one individual is injured by a vehicle in a crosswalk every 8 minutes. In the United States alone, 5,000 individuals die each year from pedestrian vehicle accidents. Cars are the most dominant form of transportation, although many individuals still walk to their destinations. Crosswalks play an important role in pedestrian safety and traffic flow. There are two types of crosswalks, marked and unmarked. Marked crosswalks are typically found in areas such as school zones, where there are traffic signals, and where the volume of traffic is much higher. Unmarked crosswalks are typically found where there are no stop signs and there is a less volume of traffic. Informing individuals on pedestrian safety will decrease the amount of numbers and statistics of pedestrian vehicle accidents that occur each year. To increase the effect of pedestrian safety in crosswalks, we will analyze the risks, develop strategies, and make a decision. Pedestrians commonly misunderstand the concept of crosswalks and find a sense of over-self-security and develop dangerous risks when in crosswalks with the vehicle. In marked intersections, traffic signals create risks from parallel traffic turning from either the left or the right. Stop signs also create risks from approaching or waiting traffic. Most pedestrians in all cases believe that approaching traffic, most vehicles will stop for them in a marked crosswalk. Waiting traffic, most individuals believe that a driver of a vehicle is already allowing them to cross when at a crosswalk. In an unmarked crosswalk, an individual takes the risk of, per se, beating the approaching traffic and in having the right of way. Now that we have analyzed the common risks of misunderstandings in crosswalk safety, we will develop a strategy to decrease the number of statistics that occur each year of deaths. In both marked and unmarked crosswalks, it is important for all pedestrians to establish the early fundamentals that were learned in elementary school. To stop, look both ways, and listen still remains to be the most effective technique. It is important to establish a clear distance of visibility as well as a safe distance between vehicles when in crosswalks. Visibility is important in making sure there is no obstruction and there is bright clothing or reflective lining at nighttime. It is most important to remember that all vehicles will not stop for you at a crosswalk. Therefore, you should make sure that the driver has acknowledged you or has waved you to cross. Now that we have both developed strategies related to the risks, we will now make proper decisions. According to the Oregon Department of Transportation, it is commonly asked when creating a crosswalk, what are the most effective measures in enhancing a safe pedestrian crossing? They take into effect aspects such as traffic speeds. Traffic speeds can range from 25 miles per hour to 50 miles per hour, depending on a residential area or a major highway. The number of lanes. The number of lanes determines if a signal is needed, as well as a safe, sufficient amount of time for a pedestrian to cross the street. Crossing distance. Crossing distance is established through engineers. Engineers throughout the year have resulted in crosswalks such as an overpass crosswalk, which are normally located where there is a higher volume of traffic, such as major highways. Proper signage is also important. Proper signage determines what between a driver of a vehicle and a pedestrian that it is now the pedestrian's turn to cross. visibility. Visibility is important for both the driver and the pedestrian in acknowledging, taking into consideration both the driver and the pedestrian and who has the right-of-way. Based on all the information we have gathered by analyzing the risks, developing strategies, and making proper decisions, we can use these techniques effectively as we exercise our safety procedures in crosswalks. According to CBS, New Jersey state law requires all vehicles to stop for pedestrians in crosswalks, both in marked and unmarked intersections. We as individuals and as drivers must take into a proper manner when we have encountered a crosswalk and place into effect all the safety tools we have learned for a safe crossing in a crosswalk. Pedestrians should keep in mind the early childhood fundamentals of crossing the street, and keep in mind that all drivers will not stop at a crosswalk. Now, do you have any questions? Yes.
If you have a intersection that's controlled by a traffic light and there are flashing signals that say walk and don't walk, can you assume it's safe to cross the intersection with the flashing walk?
Your question is asking if the signal is flashing walk, if it gives the pedestrian the right of way to walk, and if it's safe.
Correct.
The pedestrian should always use the early childhood fundamentals, as was said, to stop, look both ways, and listen. Just because a signal signals you to walk does not mean that a vehicle is going to stop at the intersection and allow you to walk, from a misunderstanding. Next question.
Do pedestrians have the right-of-way in an unmarked crosswalk?
Do pedestrians have the right-of-way in an unmarked crosswalk? Pedestrians have the right-of-way in unmarked and marked crosswalk, although that still does not secure that they're safely going to cross, and it is still important to look at traffic and make sure it is a safe crossing, but they do have, as a state law, is their right-of-way in a marked and unmarked crosswalk.
How do blind people cross in a crosswalk?
Technology for blind people now has advanced for crosswalks, and they now have techniques for that are auditory for the visually impaired, and that consecutively count from 15 to 0 down, making sure that they cross in a sufficient amount of time and safely. Okay. Thank you, and that completes this informative speech information.